بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. To the people of Tasawwuf, to the people of Tariqah, they have always to remind themselves that the barrier between them and knowledge is not outside. The only barrier is from themselves. And the way, the process to taking benefit from the knowledge of the path is to remember that the means for the conquest of your nafs, because the enemy is yourself. You are the enemy. The enemy is not outside. By hakikat, the enemy is inside. By shariat, the enemy is outside. But to be able to confront the enemy and have victory outside, there must be prior, during and afterwards always a continual dismantling and re-cleansing of the self. And this, the process of this, of course, is dhikr of Allah. But of that dhikr, it's most important is to ask forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, astaghfirullah, to ask forgiveness of Allah for the specific thing as well as in general. But remember that asking forgiveness of Allah is made deeper and more profound if you remember why should you, after all, ask Allah to forgive you if you yourself have not already forgiven the people or those ones against whom you have something. The heart has to be cleaned out of all that rancor and all that poison that it carries, and this has to be done regularly. This is why the core of tasawwuf is really this very practical business of correct behavior. It's like the way of Harith or Muhasibi is in a sense prior to the knowledge of the approach to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of states and stations. It doesn't remove it, but it's prior to it. You have to be right with yourself. To be right with yourself, you mustn't carry any luggage. Now, if supposing you say, well, this person has done something, supposing that person has done something and it's against the Shariat, and they have not been punished, because there is no Shariat in our time or in the place we live, where these things are carried out, then your forgiveness to Allah is, Allah forgive me that I have not established the deen so strongly that such a person should be punished. But what you cannot hold in yourself is the old business of the daily living, which leaves its mark, because all of us cause trouble. You can't move without hurting somebody. The whole of existence is trouble, and we all cause trouble. But at the same time, people cause us trouble. And we cannot carry this through life, because you see it on the faces of the kuffar who never make dua. You see this as they get older. You see stress in them, a distress, because the great stress comes from inside the self, not from around one. And when you go on Hajj and you sit at the house of Allah, you see old Muslim men and women from all over the world, and you cannot fail to notice the beauty of the Muslim people, that our people in their old age have a beauty because they have cleaned out themselves. They have made their forgiveness. Even taking the Hajj is like technically preparing for a death warrant, because you in the Hajj there isn't a single salat where you do not have a janazah prayer for the dead. You know, you see a man going round, tottering round in tawaf, and the next fajr you're praying over his body. And so this beauty, as it were, this beautiful condition comes out of the majesty of the Muslims in their lives, that in their dealings with the world, that they are continually like renewing themselves. So you have to ask forgiveness of Allah, but you have to forgive those people, however dreadful the thing that they may have done to you, because you cannot afford to carry this toxic in you. It's not your business. It's not your business. How are you to put it right? You never put it right. It's Allah. If there has not been a judgment in Shariat, or if there's no way to a judgment, maybe some very personal thing that is outside the realm of Shariat, you have to clean it out of your heart. You have to forget it, you see. And you must then turn to the forgiveness of Allah. And one of that forgiveness that you may ask is that you can't get it out of your heart. Then Allah will take it out of your heart. Allah will help you. Allah is with you in everything. And Allah, when you turn to Allah, the response is there. You must remember that in turning to Him, already the matter is answered. And this takes us to one of the secrets of the Qadr, that in fact, it is when you turn to Him in desperation, not by thinking, but you desperately turn to Him, then you realize one of the secrets of the Qadr, which is He has destined you to be that person who will turn to Him. So even your turning to Him is not from you, but from Him. And that's when you know that you are among the safe people, the people that are in the safe circle that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about in the Quran. And you want to belong to this circle. So you want to always, through life, not carry the luggage of all the troubles that we are to other people and other people are to us, however dreadful it may be. And remember that in wars and things, people have terrible things that they could find unforgivable, much worse than anything that's happened to us because of the horrors of war. But everybody has to empty out their hearts, you see. And the examples among the Muslims of the great men, you find this quality. We've just been going over the text of the life of Sultan Abdulhamid Khan, Rahimallah, the last great caliph of Islam. And I mean, nothing will equal what was done to him of humiliation and degradation, and how he purified himself of it and cleaned himself of it. But it also allowed him to get to the very heart of what in fact was happening to the caliphate, to the sultanate, and to the Turkish people. And we must take example from these great men of Islam, because they've left us a model of adab. And of course, the greatest model of adab is Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And again, we have the evidence of his forgiveness, because remember that one of these people who opposed him cut out the liver of his beloved uncle and ate it, you see. He had to deal with these things. And Allah helped him. Allah cleaned the matter out for him. Where there was something he could not tolerate, Allah, then it came in the Quran, perish Abu Lahab. And so this great enemy was, Allah put him into the Quran, and made for as long as existence exists, that he is cursed by Allah, to take from the heart of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam that lingering poison of his suffering against another person. So Allah took it from him, took it on himself to make, because when Aisha at one point asked Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam to curse some of the enemies, he said, I was not sent to curse, I was only sent as a mercy to all the worlds, quoting from the revelation itself. So he would not curse, so he would not keep in his heart anything, because he wanted everything clean, so that when the time came, his last words on the earth were to the highest companion, because then he was free. He was going free to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was going free with nothing, with no baggage, to say, I am here at your service, Allah. And this is the beauty of the Muslim life in its completion. And you want to have this iman that is lasting, this prayer of the Arifin is, Allah give me an iman that is lasting, so that it takes you to that very final moment. And that is why the people of Tariqah are the people who do not bear rancor and who do not have darkness in the heart in relation to other people. And the darkness in the heart about themselves, also they have to realize that to forgive themselves, they take that to Allah and say astaghfirullah, and Allah will help them turn from what they don't like about themselves, turn from the wrong actions. As Imam Junaid said in this famous reply in the mosque of Baghdad, when they asked him what astaghfirullah was, astighfar was, and one of the great Arifs said it was to turn and ask Allah to forgive the wrong action. And then they said, Imam Junaid rahimahullah, what do you say? He said, no, it is to forget your wrong action in acceptance of the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the glory of the deen, this is the wisdom of the people of the path, and this is the recurring guidance that's in the Quran. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us people of Quran, people who take our education from Quran, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us people whose heart is light and made light with the dhikr of Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, Subhanallah al-Azim. Fatiha, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah.